Okay, so in this video, I'm going to run you through the first session of my 4-week program that I've created. So, this 4-week program contains 3 sessions on the first week, 3 sessions on the second week, 2 sessions on the third week, and 3 sessions on the fourth week. It's based on a reverse periodization model, so we're accumulating more volume as we progress. And they are whole body sessions designed to keep you ready and prepared and capable to progress onwards after the 4-week period, essentially. So the actual session, how it's created, basically it's going to be based off of a RPE model, so rating of perceived exertion. Rating of perceived exertion is a scale of 1 to 10, and it's a scale of intensity. So if something is a 10 out of 10, it means that you've taken that exercise to absolute failure. You cannot perform another repetition. If you take it to a 5 out of 10, it's relatively easy. You could carry on performing the reps. You're nowhere near failure, basically. So the exercises are based off of a rating of perceived exertion. However, they also have a percentage of your 1 rep max. Now, this is a loose percentage because percentages can change depending on auto-regulation, how we're feeling on the day. But as a guidance, if you need a bit more assistance, there is a percentage of your 1RM as a guidance value. Also, the rep scheme for each exercise, it ranges as well. Because we're trying to achieve a specific level of intensity, a specific RPE on that 1 to 10 scale, the rep scheme, if we just had it as do 10 reps of this exercise, you may be able to do another 5 repetitions one day, or you may not even be able to get to 10 repetitions because the RPE is so high. You might be at 9 reps and not be able to perform another repetition. So therefore you're at a 10 out of 10 RPE. So there is a rep scheme, but it does vary. And with the rep scheme, again, if you really want to make this program work for you, use the rep scheme as guidance and not as a set target to achieve. The target we want to achieve is that intensity value. What is the RPE? Is it 10 out of 10? We go to complete failure. Is it 8 out of 10? We can perform two repetitions more if we really tried. Aim for the RPE, use the rep scheme, and use the 1RM as guidance values. Now, every exercise is going to be under a controlled tempo. We're not dropping and exploding up, none of that sort of stuff. It's all controlled and with good technique, obviously. Rest periods, I've put every rest period as whatever is required because this can vary between person to person. Having a set value of 1 minute between each exercise, it can disrupt the quality of the next exercise. I want you to take as much rest as required, whether that's 30 seconds, whether that's 3 minutes, 5 minutes, you name it. There's not a set time. You do what is required to recuperate and then perform the next exercise. So, on to the actual session. We've got 5 different exercises. Each exercise is going to be done for 3 sets. Now, you can go from exercise to exercise, or you can perform all 3 sets of the exercise and then progress on to the next exercise. So, I'll demonstrate now. So our first exercise is the bench press or the press up. So for myself in this situation here, I don't have a bench press, so I'll be using the press up. Or what I could do as an alternative is with the barbell behind me, I could do a floor press. So I could lay with my back on the floor, and similar to a bench press, I could push the bar up. For the purpose of this, I'm going to use the press up. So we have 3 sets of 10 to 15 repetitions. We want an RPE of 8 out of 10. So realistically, I'm aiming for 10 to 15 reps, but that is guidance. I'm going until I can do maybe 2 more repetitions before I can't do any more. So we're near failure, we're not very close, we're not at an RPE 9, we're not at that point where we can maybe muster 1 more rep. We're at an RPE of 8, and we're going to do it 3 times. So I'll get down into my press up position, I'll start doing my repetitions, full range of motion, and a controlled tempo. And then I'll get to, let's say this is repetition 8, repetition 9, repetition 10, and let's say I'm struggling now. I don't go for 11, controlled. Now that's really starting to become difficult. I could probably just manage 2 more reps. That's where I stop. So that is the first exercise. Now I can rest to whatever I need. Say I need 3 minutes, I can rest, and then I can perform the exercise again. Or I can go on to the next exercise, do all 5, and then recycle as we go along and do 3 sets like that. So I'm going to go on to the next exercise now, which is a machine row or a cable row or a bent over row. So I don't have a machine row or a cable row here to hand, but I can do a bent over row. So I'll grab the barbell behind, and then what we'll do, we'll take the barbell, we will hinge at the hips, so pushing the bum back, and then with a nice neutral spine, we're braced at the core. I'm going to bring my elbows back like that, and we come down. So nice controlled tempo again, bringing the elbows back down. So the bar's going in a straight line here. So let's say we're at number 10, it's becoming difficult, 11, go get 12, yep. And that will do, because I only have 2 repetitions left that I can perform without failing at that exercise. So that's a bent over row, and again that's going to be of a 10 to 15 repetition scheme. Percentage of our 1 rep max around 70 to 80%. So that is a guidance figure. The percentage is a guidance figure, and the rep scheme is still a guidance figure. As long as we're achieving an RPE of 8 out of 10, that's what we want. After the row, we're going on to plank. So, take plank position, neutral spine, braced at the core. I'm just going to hold the plank. Now, with the plank, again, it's going to be 3 sets. Now, obviously, we don't do repetitions with the plank, so this will just be to near failure. So again, we were trying to achieve 8 out of 10 intensity. That could be 10 seconds, 20 seconds, 30 seconds, and so on. We want an 8 out of 10 RPE on the plank. So we're near failure. Then we go on to our next exercise, which in this session is either a Romanian deadlift or an RDL or a good morning. So they're the same exercise for the movement pattern. It's a hip dominant exercise. We're going from hip flexion to hip extension. They just differ in the way they are performed. So in this session, for demonstration, I'm using RDL. So essentially, this could be with a barbell, it could be with dumbbells, but it is the same as what we was doing with the bent over row. We're hinging at the hips, so the bar goes straight down vertically. So you'll see this here, the hips go back, and the back stays neutral. Hips come forward, hips back, hips forward. So again, 10 to 15 repetitions, and the load is again going to be 70 to 80% as a guidance figure. Controlled tempo, trying to get an RPE of 8 out of 10. Maybe I can get 10 reps, maybe I can get 15. Who knows, maybe it goes even higher or lower than that. It doesn't matter too much, we look for an 8 out of 10 RPE. Finally, we go into our last exercise, which is lunges, like a knee over toe lunge or a reverse lunge. So this could be at body weight, or this could be using a barbell on the back. It could be using dumbbells at your side, whatever you deem necessary. 10 to 15 repetitions on each side. So you could alternate, you could go like left leg forward into the right leg forward, or you could just take one leg at a time and go through 10 to 15 repetitions. Again, 70 to 80% of your 1 rep max as a guidance figure, trying to achieve an 8 out of 10 RPE. Controlled range of motion the whole time. And just to give that demonstration one more time, we're either going to step forward and do a knee over toe lunge and then come back, or we're going to get into a stance and allow it to become more hip dominant as well as a knee dominant exercise by coming forward as opposed to coming back. So you're going to get a bit more knee dominance if you do the knee over toe lunge. But if the foot comes back and we load up and then come forward on the concentric, it's going to also load up the hip a bit as well. So that is all 5 exercises. Now, like I said, you can either do 3 sets of each and then progress, or you can do a set of each and then go through that cycle again. 10 to 15 repetitions of an RPE 8 out of 10. The 1 rep max of 70 to 80% is a guidance value on each exercise. The repetition scheme, if you want to get a bit more advanced, can also be a guidance figure. We want to achieve an 8 out of 10 RPE. So that is where we can just about perform, say, 2 more repetitions of each exercise. Now, each exercise needs to be done with correct form, correct technique, and under a controlled tempo. If you do all that, you will have completed the first session of the 4-week plan that I have created. If you like this, obviously give it a like and a share. Spread it with anyone who you think could benefit from it. And if you want any more of this, or you want to know any more about training, exercise, programming, etc., message me. Please share it with a friend and enjoy being back in the gym.